What is minimalism? Well, Google will tell you that minimalism is a trend in sculpture and painting that arose in the 1950s and used simple, typically massive forms. This is the standard definition of minimalism as it was. It typically described, you know, movements in the arts where people would just use big objects and use really simple things and called it art. And that's definitely not the minimalism we're talking about here. We're talking about the social movement of kind of a lifestyle of minimalism. So I think a great definition was put together by the Minimalists, which are two guys that they actually made a documentary on minimalism and made a website, so you can visit them at theminimalists.com. They say, minimalism is a tool to rid yourself of life's excess in favor of focusing on what's important so you can find happiness, fulfillment, and freedom. I think that's a great definition. That's exactly how I would define it, and that's exactly how I live my life. Another great article out there on minimalism by Melissa Cameron Wilkins. It's called The 5 Types of Minimalism. So she breaks minimalism down into, not necessarily, I wouldn't call them types of minimalism. I would call them reasons why you would want to live a minimalistic lifestyle. So the 5 types of minimalism that she writes about are the essentialist, the experientialist, the enoughist, which enoughist isn't even a word, but it's fun, so let's stick with it. The eco-minimalist and the soul minimalist. So basically, the essentialist is really going to value the essentials in his life, or her life, really going to value the essential things. Like, in today's world, you might need a cell phone, you're going to need a good pair of shoes, you're going to need a backpack to hold your stuff. And, this could be 12 things, this could be 321 things, but the essentialist really values those essentials. And so they're not going to spare any expense when it comes to those essentials in relation to the practicality of them and the quality and the durability of them. The experientialist kind of gets rid of excess in their lives, excess materials and excess things, to focus more on the experiences because they value the experience of life more than anything. And that makes sense. Well, I mean, that's what life is. It's an experience, and you don't get as much joy out of getting something new. You get something new, and for a little while it makes you happy, but then that gets old. You want something else that's new. But an experience, man, I mean, that'll give you memories that'll last a lifetime. I would really like to go to Switzerland. So from the experientialist perspective, yeah, I mean, I hope my minimalist lifestyle gets me to where I can go to Switzerland eventually. So the enoughist just wants to live with just enough. They don't want to take more than what they need. So that's basically what it is they want to live with just what they need and not take any more or any less. The eco-minimalist, they practice minimalism because for environmental factors. They don't want to consume more because when you consume, you're contributing to, greenhouse gases being put into the environment. That's inevitable when you're creating products and things. So that's another reason why I practice minimalism, to benefit the environment. I'm not consuming as much. I am reducing my footprint, as they might say. The soul minimalist, and I think this is what it all comes down to eventually, really realizes that the value in life isn't the excess things, and that sounds so maybe cliche, but it really isn't. You can't take those things with you when you're gone. The nature of everything is that it's all impermanent. So these things are all going to wear away. You're going to wear away. So they try to find some deeper meaning in life. They really focus on that deeper meaning rather than the kind of excess things in life. Yeah, so like I said, these are all just basic reasons to live a simple life. And the point is not to maybe tag these on to your identity and have an extra title. Be like, well, I'm a vegetarian and I'm an essentials minimalist. And no, that's excess, and that would be contradictory to the purpose of minimalism. So so for instance, when somebody says, you know, wants to know something about me, I don't say, well, I'm a minimalist. I say, well, I practice minimalism, because even, you know, it can get to the point where even those identities that you have, it's just excess. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Yeah, but these titles are kind of fun. Like I said, enoughist isn't even a word, but it's kind of fun. So something people might get mixed up with minimalism is aestheticism. And this is defined as severe self-discipline and avoidance of all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons. Now, this is not at all what minimalism is. To practice minimalism, it's not to deprive oneself, but it's to appreciate and focus more on the things that are most important. So, yeah, it's definitely not aestheticism, so don't get it confused with that. So you know how people say it's not the destination, but it's the journey that matters? Well, minimalism, it's all about the journey. It's all about figuring out what's most important. Most of the value is not actually in getting rid of this excess stuff, but it's that contemplative journey of what's valuable in your life that will forever change your perspective.